G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Draw with Jazza. I'm Jazza and today we're going to be drawing Rapunzel from Disney's Tangled. Now this is a character that we can find references for, so if you're drawing a character that's from pop culture or a already completed movie or series or anything like that, you want to make sure that you're getting the right proportions and focusing on the right features. So I looked up some pictures to kind of get a grasp of how things look and what to focus on, and then we get started. So we start, as we always do, with the construction lines. Normally with the face, I do a circle and then add a jaw underneath. It's kind of a narrow jaw, so we don't need to go over the top. We have direction line and an eye line, and then everything's side on. We have the shoulder slightly in front of the jawline. This character, because she's getting ready to fight with her frying pan, that trusted weapon of hers. Now, one of the key Disney features is the eyes. Big, round, kind of puppy dog eyes, very expressive and emotive, and that's quite a standard in a lot of their character designs, those quite expressive eyes. And then of course this is Rapunzel. She's young, she has a soft face and jawline, and the hair is the key feature. So we really make the hair the big standout of the piece. You want to kind of accentuate the fact that she has a lot of it because she is Rapunzel, and kind of get a nice motion and a nice flow and sit it slightly above the line of the skull. So once we've got the face and the hair done, I'm just going to add a few refining details throughout the picture, like her clothing, and then refining things like her back shoulder, her hand, and the frying pan, things like that. And then once we've got the shapes how we want them, we've got everything set up the way we want it, I tend to flip it. And then we tend to notice mistakes quite quickly. We notice imbalances, and then I kind of move things around a little bit and then we flip it back. That's a very good way for checking for mistakes, is just to flip things horizontally, and you can see things quite quickly. Now when it gets to the line work, I'm not using a straight black line. It's kind of hard to notice, but I'm using just a very dark brown. The reason for this is it's just a little bit softer, and because this character has a soft nature, soft sort of look, I thought I'd go with that instead because it would merge well with her colors as well. Now with the lines of the face, keep things really minimal. Less is more. You don't need to draw the whole edge of the nose, especially with feminine characters, and really just keep things about the silhouette lines, because anything else, any shape sort of in the face, whether it be under the cheek or under the eyes, we're kind of going to do with shading. The rest we just want to make sure is only the minimal stuff is held together with the line work, and try and make it as refined and complete as we can. So going through, finishing off the final details of the pan, we've done the hair, the basic shapes of that, and then now that that's done, I'm going to go through and do some color. Now I'm going to do 3 shades for most of this image. I'm going to do darks, mid-tones, and some highlights. So I'm going through and doing the darks around the edges of the character, so the light is sort of a front-on light. Then we're doing the mid-tones, and then we leave space for the highlights. Now the skin is similar. I'm going through with the darks, but I want to make sure that there's not too much of a variance between the darks and the mid-tones and the highlights. It should all be fairly smooth together because it's a soft sort of character. We don't want it too strong. With the shading under the cheeks, keep it really minimal and really light, just to show basic areas of where the shading is and how the shape changes. Again, less is more, because the harder the edges you have, the more obnoxious it'll be. And with highlights, I'm just leaving 3 little circles, as you can see, on the nose and on the cheeks, and I'm just going to have a slightly lighter color on there for the highlights. It's not too obnoxious, it's just a little bit of a sheen. Now that that's done, the next thing I'm going to be doing is the lips, and whenever I color in lips, I keep a few things in mind. I generally use 3 shades. I use a dark around the edge of the bottom lip, and then I do a mid-tone on the fullness of the bottom lip. That gives that nice roundness, and then a much darker tone on the top lip, which kind of gives a nice shape overall. Using those same skin tones, we're going to shade the torso, have a little bit of sheen on the top of the breast to make it pop out, and then we have the hand, same sort of thing. So we're just doing the basic areas of shadow, a few very small areas of highlights, and that gives the whole thing a bit of a natural sheen. Then finally, the tones of the clothing. Now it's pretty straightforward. I'm just going to use 2 tones for the tone of the clothing. Now this bit on the shoulders is a bit weird because I kind of got to estimate the halfway points between each, because I have 2 colors, and filling in the shadows of each of them can be a bit annoying sometimes, but that's something you get used to over time. And then filling in the middle colors, and then basically finishing off. There's not too much to worry about with the rest of the coloring. I'm going to go into detail in how I go about the eyes in a moment, but everything else is pretty straightforward 2-tone sort of colouring. So we've got the pinks of the arms and the sleeves and all of that stuff, filling in the details. Now with the eyes, how I shade eyes is I shade the innermost part of the circle and the top edges. So there's the shadow of the eyelid, the upper eyelid, and then I paint a really strong colour as the main part of the eye. Just 2 tones for the shading, and it really just makes it pop out. It's really quite simple. You can use gradients if you want to, but that's just a simple way of doing some 2-tone cell shading colouring for the eyes. And then the last thing I'm going to do just to finish off the piece is take a circle gradient, a radial gradient, and I'm going to have red in the middle and transparent red on the edge, and as you can see we get that glow. Now I kind of erase the edges, position it all so it covers the cheeks, and then with 100% alpha on the edges and about 10% alpha on the middle, we get a nice rosy glow. And I add this to feminine or childlike characters to finish it off, and it adds a really nice sort of brightness and cheerfulness to the face and pinkens it up. And I hope you enjoy this video, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure to leave your suggestions in the comment section for another Let's Draw character you want me to do, or maybe other things. What else would you like me to do in a Let's Draw? It doesn't have to be a character, maybe certain creatures or something like that. Otherwise, that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you later.